Nuclear missile ready.
Hello and welcome to yet another Alpha Pro Series matchup here, brought to you by Alpha X. My name is Rushy, and I will be your English caster for this evening's event. Thank you so much for joining us here on Africa TV. We are going to have a matchup here between Alpha X's own BreakingGG and his opponent playing for Team Bear Me, PSiArc. We'll get to know more about these players here as they get loaded into game number 1, which is just starting right now, and we'll have a chance to speak about them and get to know them a little bit better as we jump into tonight's Pro Series match. We have a good one in store for you. A ZvT should be a great time, so thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this wonderful event. We hope that you enjoy. As we get into map number 1, it's going to be here on Eternal Empire, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire. Our red Terran player playing for Team Bear Me. Give it up for PSiArc. And spawning in the bottom left, playing for Team Alpha X. Give it up for our Teal Zerg, BreakingGG. It has been a rocky preseason here in StarCraft 2, but we're so grateful for all of the small local tournaments that have been available for us to consume in this time of, I won't call it despair, but I will call it just very dry content time. We are in the middle of GSL Super Tournament number 1, and that's one of our official events of the year after Katowice, and we are seeing a nice little movement across the board as we get into our full-blown season for the 2020 calendar year. We're starting to see things ramp up in terms of events coming out of Korea for GSL. We've officially learned our dates for GSL Season 1, 2, and 3. We will get all 3 seasons, which is very exciting. And I think that will provide us with many great opportunities to consume StarCraft 2 in the year 2020. So it should be great for all of us. As we jump in here to map number 1 on Eternal Empire, we're opening with a rather slow, careful, macro-oriented build. Reaper coming across the map here to do just a little bit of scouting, while PSiArc takes his SCV and moves it down to the 3rd base location. And PSiArc is going to have to test our Teal Zerg and put him through his ranks just a tiny bit. Does a little bit of Reaper micro here at the front, damaging those Lings, but the Lings with a little bit of micro of their own pulling all of the weakened ones back and not losing a single Zergling on that defense. Reaper's going to jump up into the main base and get cornered by the Queen on the high ground, which is going to prevent any further scouting information, but that Reaper's not quite done. Going to try and see if it can get even just a little bit more information or a little bit of damage done at this point. Meanwhile, PSiArc back at home, getting the orbital command down on the natural base location. This is a rather early lair out of our teal Zerg. Speed's just about to finish up, so Zerglings are going to be able to move across the map, but we are looking at 2 base saturation off of 2 gases. With an early lair, one could suspect that we might see a roach push or a spire dropped down in the near future. And there goes the spire, so we are going to see ourselves move into mutaplay. We're going to have to see if PSiArc's able to catch wise of this. Sends the Reaper up into the main base, and the Reaper is going to scout that spire prior to dying. But it's going to be off the heels of a fusion core where PSiArc is just already one step ahead. So BreakingGG is going to have the response that he needs for battle cruisers in the form of corruptors, adding on 2 more gas and taking his 3rd base expansion. So playing this rather safe and calculated. As more Hellions do flow across the map here, Hellions are going to come up to the base, and unfortunately they cannot deal a whole lot of damage to that base, so they're going to be forced to do a little bit of a dance, make a little bit of love, and get down tonight. Overlord drops a little bit of creep to help the Queens push creep forward, which poses some problems here for the Hellions. Hellions are going to swing around on the top side and pick off a fresh creep tumor, and actually do get in behind him. Most of the Queens, the Lings are laying in wait along with Zerglings. Nice surround on the Hellions. It's going to clean up all of these Hellions for no economic damage. 3rd base from PSiArc is on its way out as the 1st battlecruiser is about to hit the field. But I have a feeling that PSiArc is not going to wait, actually opting to go into mutas. I'm not entirely certain that PSiArc knows that a battlecruiser is coming at this point, as I don't believe mutas would be the proper response here. These mutas are just going to get batted away. And batted away they are. Battlecruiser hangs out at the front. The one thing that it will do is it is going to force PSiArc to make a committed decision here if he wants to take this battlecruiser over to the opposite side of the map or leave it home to defend. And right now it does need to stay home and defend, as the mutas do work their way into the natural mineral line of our red Terran player. Yamato Cannon being researched at this time as a big round of banelings being warped in on the northern side of the map. Is just going to be a big baneling bust, but there really doesn't even need to be banelings. The door's wide open. 2 bases are very, very exposed as the battlecruiser continues to hang out at the front of the base, but this is just a lot of banelings. BreakingGG is going to go in with a very, very forceful entry here, and I think they're going to get a lot more done than they would otherwise suspect, as baneling speed does finish up here. Oh, these banelings are just going to go completely unchecked. The mines are completely out of place. The mutas are savable right now. Oh, but a majority of those banelings actually making contact with a tank. Those were worthless. Those banelings are going to find a lot more damage here as banelings get split off to both sides with a little bit of missed micro, and those banelings are just completely cleaned up and do little to no economic damage. Zerglings here do place a lot of economic damage down as workers are forced to be pulled from the 3rd base to the natural and back and forth. 18 workers all in all, and it's just going to be a Ling flood moving forward here. Up to 2 battlecruisers now for PSiArc, as PSiArc should be able to jump across the map here, as most of the mutas, I believe, were completely cleaned up and taken care of. PSiArc doesn't necessarily know that at this point, so He's going to opt to leave them at home for right now. A couple of Hellions help keep the third base and mineral line secure. Just long enough that they don't deal too much economic damage. But now, BreakingGG is in a little bit of a pickle. He is up 10 workers, which is no easy feat. Nothing to turn your nose up at. PSiArc has done a relatively nice job of defending that push. Has 3 battle cruisers, all with Yamato cannon. And the corruptor count is still rather low for BreakingGG. What are we at for corruptor count? Only 2. Only 2 at this point. Roaches are the transition of choice here for BreakingGG. I'm not entirely certain what he wants to try and accomplish, but he's confident that he can make it work with what he has. 4th base of BreakingGG is going to be under fire as the battle cruisers do begin to work. Yamato cannons are going to pick up 3 out of the 4, I believe. There's 3 more left. Corruptor. The battle cruisers are going to continue to do work, and we actually have a slight bit of lag here. And it's me. No. What's happening? God, have mercy on my soul. We're going to hope that doesn't happen again. A little bit of micro from PSiArc is going to keep that battle cruiser off the death list, but these roaches are going to counterattack at the same time. Only 1 tank to anchor that down up by the orbital. It's going to force all 3 of these battle cruisers to jump back. And eventually this will be cleaned up. It's a matter of how much economic damage breaking can impact, as the 3rd base was left relatively untouched. Here come the Corruptors to join the fight. 1 Thor is going to help push this off for the time being, but those Corruptors should be able to jump on top of one of those battle cruisers. And that's actually a rather decent trade, especially since he walks away with 5 Corruptors. And that kind of evens out our worker and army count as well. More Corruptors on the way for Breaking as he starts transitioning into Hive Tech, getting that infestation pit. 1-1 for Mech is on the way as well for PSiArc, as more Thors, more tanks in the mix-up, as well as adding on a couple more factories to help aid that production. 4th base is on its way out, so we are going to see a Zerg and a Terran operating on similar base counts, although noticing that the Terran is going to get 4th base out just a little bit quicker, along with a 5th base in production. Roaches and Ravagers are trying to find an angle here, and will find just a little bit of damage to kill the front line of workers as they try to install some missile turrets for the impending brood wars. Hive is on the way. More Corruptors in production as well. The battle cruisers are going to come out and try and push away this Roach and Ravager force, but that's not going to be the fear that PSiArc plays against. It is going to be that Broodlord transition that is inevitably coming out of BreakingGG. 2-1 on the way as well, and actually we are going to see Infestors. Neural Parasite and Pathogen Glands being researched at this point. It's going to make Infestors just a little bit stronger to work with. Not quite building into those just yet. A couple of Hellions do manage to find this little hit squad. Roach Ravager. And they're just going to get a little bit of scouting information right now. Vision for our blue Zerg is actually pretty remarkable. 2 battle cruisers are going to fly in the backside of the natural and pick off a couple of these Corruptors. You're going to jump right back home where this battle cruiser has 10 kills. The other one has 15. So they are definitely getting their money's worth out of those flying ships. Roach Raptor's gonna come up here to the 5th base location. Tanks are not quite sieged, and the Thors are a little bit out of position. So this is gonna deal a little bit of damage here. Corruptors aren't gonna get into the fight quite yet. Battle Cruisers are gonna be able to push this away as a result. And I feel like PSiArc is doing a nice job of trying to stay focused on the outreach of his bases, keeping a solid eye on spreading his units out. Eventually, I think we're going to see all of these clump up and just move across the map, as he is nearing supply cap, 186 to 175, even on workers, but has about 10 more army supply, which is not insignificant when you're talking about Terran mech. That carries a lot of value and a lot of punishing power. Neuroparasite just about to finish up here as Burrow also is completed. I feel like BreakingGG is going to try and siege this. The pole is just a little bit late. Some Biles do manage to kill a lot of the workers just repairing it. 7 workers do go down, as does the base. But the battle cruisers are going to do a little bit of revenge on the back side of this, picking off about 5 workers. So the economic damage to both sides is going to favor Breaking just a little bit. But PSiArc making sure to deal at least a little bit of damage in the meantime. 4th base is going to be rebuilt at this time, so this is going to be built on site, so it is vulnerable until it can become planetary. A couple more of these are going to fly on in. The Corruptors, we're going to deal with it, but we have to pull back just at the last minute. More and more Corruptors on the way as well. I'm beginning to think that the Infestors are going to do exactly what they need to here. Forcing a jump here, wasting it so that way they immediately die. Being jumped into a spore-crawling forest. A couple of those getting picked off for virtually no cost. Here comes the scary part of the army. Thor's pushing forward after tanks to get sieged. The tanks are going to play a little bit of leapfrog here. But these Thors are a little bit exposed. Ooh, loses a couple of tanks to some very good volleys because they're clumped up so closely. These Thors could take a little bit of damage from the Broodlords if not careful, but lots and lots of Broodlords on the way. 9 in total so far. 1 Neuroparasite does pick off a Thorn. Forced to bring that down as well. As we get to the tail is all this time in TVZ. Thors versus the Broodlord. Good Neuroparasites going down and taking over the battle cruisers, which gives Breaking just incredible staying power, and that army is able to clear up everything by the time it's done. That battle cruiser will go down. Suddenly, Breaking is looking at moving across the map, sending the Broodlords immediately across. Is going to try and pick up these ground forces here, as well as defending the Infestors. The Infestors are going to be the scary part of this army as they can continue to pull valuable units from PSiArc's army. 4th base is now just only becoming a planetary fortress. It is already under siege as Breaking begins up here. GG is going to be called, and BreakingGG takes game number 1 in this best of 9 series. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So that's going to set us up for a really, really nice... I didn't do a very good job here getting this all set up. We're going to go to Nightshade next. Nightshade will be our map number 2 in this Alpha X Pro series. Again, this is a best of 9. So the winner is going to have to win 5 games out of 9 in this to walk away with our prize. Some cold hard cash. I admittedly did not get everything up that needed to be up, so I'm super grateful for everything that Mage is doing to keep us moving forward. Thank you so much for watching. We've got some great sponsors. We're going to talk about them after this next game when I have more information to share with you about those great sponsors. Someday we're going to find that. That day is today. But it's not going to be right this second, as we are jumping into map number 2 here on Nightshade LE, spawning in the top right-hand corner. Our Red Terran player playing for Team Bear Me. Give it up for PSiArc. And spawning in the bottom right, our Cheeky Zerg playing for Team Alpha X. Give it up for BreakingGG. We're gonna go ahead and get this information. But as we get going here, a little bit of information about these two players. Both players playing in Grandmaster League right now. PSiArc, our Terran player, has a okay win rate against Zerg, looking at 51% win rate against Zerg players. But BreakingGG taking the early lead with only a 43% win rate. Interesting. Our Chinese Zerg taking an early lead here over our Japanese Terran. So it is going to be interesting to see how the long form of this tournament goes for these two players. Statistics is sitting on PSiArc's side, but clearly we shouldn't count out BreakingGG, as he already has maneuvered himself a 1-0 start to this best of 9. Reaper is going to move out onto the map. Is he going to find a blue Zerg that really isn't doing anything too terribly crazy at this point? A couple of queens, a few Zerglings also on the way, moving into a normal speed timing. It's going to find us doing normal things for a normal game. Reaper's going to do just a little bit of micro and push all of these back, and both players going to flex their micro skills, as the queen is going to pop out here. The natural is going to shove that Reaper away for the time being. More drones being made by BreakingGG as a result. We are going into a pretty standard 1-1-1 as well. It'll be interesting to see if we move into battle cruisers once again. Factory immediately getting lifted, going to be placed right onto the reactor. We're going to see some Hellions come right out of that. So I think this is very, very possible that we might be seeing the same type of build. Just about any time something super shenanigan-y happens, we've got one Marine trying to make sure that that information is kept a secret. So one Marine is going to be on patrol to try and push away this Overlord, but I think that Overlord is going to be able to scout everything that it could ever possibly want to, if it does make that jump in. We are going to open just a little bit differently, though, moving into a Liberator. Roach Warren's going to be a response for breaking as well. The Reaper does get really, really low here with these Hellions, so they are not going to be able to jump in too terribly aggressive from the start. A couple more Hellions sitting down at the opening of the natural for PSiArc. Not moving across the map, worried about Lings trying to flood on into the natural base expansion to take a shot at the Warfare line. We are going into a very quick stim timing, so this is going to be a slightly different opening for our red Terran player. Is going to move into a bio game against our Zerg. But I believe our Zerg has different timing options here, coming in with 9 roaches. He's going to use these to his advantage. But he does have a third base down, so this isn't too terribly all in. Just a very strong timing attack out of our blue Zerg player from Alpha X. The Hellions are going to see this coming and are going to have to move back home to defend against this. Getting some nice Reaper shots to try and pick away at these roaches, and one roach does go down, but not before it tries to morph into a Ravager and he does more economic damage. PSiArc trying to make the most of this stall tactic here. Another roach goes down, but now the siege begins. 2 bunkers are down in place. This is going to be a very, very difficult. It's going to be a very difficult area to siege. A couple of workers going to try and keep this supply depot alive as long as humanly possible. These units should just be flooding across the map here to try and deal with the third base economy. But they decide to stay back just to wait and see if they can get a free pick on this army. It's not until the tank gets into siege distance that Breaking is forced to pull back. But now Breaking is going to try and take his luck with the third base mineral line. Does get 3 workers, so doesn't walk away empty-handed, but does lose a couple of Hellions and a Reaper to the whole push. So not exactly a great exchange on value. 4th base is coming down for BreakingGG as the Terran player continues to get into traditional bio. Lots of Marines. +1 on the way. Stim is already done. Combat shields on the way, as well as tank production coming as well. PSiArc does have a nice army composition, but I can't help but feel that it's about a minute behind with the timing that he was attempting to do with all of those Hellions. Certainly not a bad place to be. A couple of tanks are going to get airdropped here, right outside of the third base. This is actually a really great siege position. One stim does manage to go down as the tanks can begin to do work. More units being streamed across the map, and these Marines are actually getting a lot of value, picking off some high energy queens and getting their money's worth. Those queens are going to be forced all the way back here as creep tumors do get scanned and begin to get picked off. The drones have been pulled from the 2nd base location and the 3rd base. 3rd base does actually go down, but some really great stim micro is going to obliterate so many of these drones. 25 drones going down at this point. More and more queens and roaches, and it's just a constant stream of Marines coming across the map. PSiArc doing a really nice job of making sure not to overcommit to the stim so that the medevacs keep up with healing. I think eventually this is going to get shut down, but at what cost? He's lost his 3rd base, he's lost 27 drones, and actually the Marines are able to continue pushing up. Tanks staying unsieged to continue dealing damage while being mobile, and this is just absolutely devastating. Back behind it, a 4th base is on the way down. 1-1 is on the way for Breaking if he can manage to squeak out of this, but there's just so much supply still sitting here for PSiArc. PSiArc is going to be able to siege up on the ramp, and if he's able to siege up right here on the ramp, oh my gosh, that's just going to be incredibly difficult for Breaking to get past here. Incredible bio micro here. He's going to finally shut all of this down, but not before 30 some odd workers do get put into place. And all 2 of the tanks he started with are coming back home with him. Another medevac full of Marines going to go cause some problems. And I did say this was a 4th base. This is actually a 3rd base location for PSiArc, which still is not bad considering that PSiArc was able to take out the 4th base location of Breaking. does leave him open for his other third, which is still well saturated at 56 workers. But it does slow down the gas production just a little bit. That's a place where Breaking could afford to have just a little bit more. Instead, he's having to dump minerals and focus on rebuilding that economy, while PSiArc has just been building tanks and marines and is going to be able to move across the map here to deal a little bit more damage. And I think this is going to be the lethal damage if he is allowed to put those tanks into position. 130 to 105 is not an insane gap to overcome, but it is going to be a bit of a jump for Breaking to deal with, especially when +1 armor is just about complete for PSiArc. He's going to complete in the middle of this fight, I believe. Marines are going to stem forward and try and take out more of these roaches, and these roaches are just outnumbered and overwhelmed by the number of Marines that are here. We'll get a nice concave on the workers. It's not until the tank begins its volley that these roaches are being forced to pay respect and move back a little bit. A little bit nicer tank spread here, which forces those Ravager vials to be a lot less efficient. And now the leapfrog begins once again. More medevacs on this push, which means these units are going to be healed a lot faster and can stim a lot more frequently. 10 more roaches on the way for Breaking. Breaking trying his hardest not to give up, but once the roaches are all cleaned up, these Ravagers do not have anything to soak up damage for him. He is going to just jump on top of these tanks, forced to be very methodical about his bile placements, which takes up a lot more time and a lot more effort. Some reinforcing Marines in the midst of the battle and continuing to duke things out. Hard to see who is doing what, but I believe that PSiArc is continuing to come out the victor here, picking off more and more of those high-cost Ravagers that I don't believe Breaking can actually afford to lose at this point. Tank does leapfrog forward and sit on creep, so this is going to be a very deadly tank. Breaking is going to have to deal with this and commit a lot of his army to try and make that happen, and I think that that is just going to be too much damage for Breaking. PSiArc looks to be on track to clean up game number 2 and bring our series to a 1-1 tie. Breaking is making him work for it, but I think it's going to be this next little push that will make the G button begin to work. Help encourage him to end this game. PSiArc taking his 4th base, and 4th base is actually already fully saturated, 75 to 57 workers. PSiArc is just operating on all cylinders right now, while Breaking is continually trying to make the best out of a very broken situation. But he's forced to spend all of his larvae on army units rather than building more and more drones, and as we all know, drones are the lifeblood of the Zerg. If you can't build more drones, you're just gonna get more dead. A few Marauders get mixed in and are going to help put the 4th base away. Breaking does have more bases over here, but is continuing to defend. PSiArc just continuing to move ahead in the army supply. Breaking is going to clear up the tanks and force PSiArc to reassess the situation. But I think PSiArc is going to have enough here where he can just push forward and clean up the rest of this army. And that's going to be all. GG is called, and PSiArc takes map number 2. GG. Very well done at this point in the series. So we are 1-1. Poop. Gonna have to figure this one out. So I have to take a peek at that here as we get ready for map number 3. Not sure what map we are in at this time. But I do need to tell you about our great sponsors that we have here at Alpha X. You can see them down below. Oh, I'm gesturing the wrong way. There we go. Down below. We're headed to Everdream as our next map. We do have some great sponsors in F-Bomb, G Fuel, and 24-Hour Fitness. Can't help but notice that we are just kind of spelling the alphabet there at the beginning, starting with F, moving to G, and then we pick numbers. We're going to tell you more specific things about these sponsors coming up very, very soon because they're great people and we want to talk about them as we get geared up. Format number 3, thank you so much for joining. My name is Rushy. Currently a band teacher that is not working completely full-time right now because of the COVID-19 shutdown. So I hope that you are all safe, happy, healthy, well, all that important information as we get set here in Everdream, spawning in the bottom left Everdream. Our Red Terran player playing for Team Bear Me. Give it up for PSiArc. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, playing for Team Alpha X. He's a barcode, but we know who he is. He's Team Alpha X's BreakingGG. Yeah, an absolutely crazy scenario here. As we're experiencing a global pandemic on the scales of which I don't believe we have experienced maybe in my entire lifetime. Maybe we've got some really, really old members of the StarCraft community like, well, I can remember the flu of 1918. If that's the case, like, good for you. Please let us know what it's like to be 102. But more importantly, please share with us the secrets of how you've picked up StarCraft in your late 80s, going all the way into your 100s. The SCV is going to come out here and take a quick little stroll. This is a rather late scout, so this isn't going to try and find anything earth-shattering or interesting of any variety. But it could potentially put a hold on a third base location depending on where he decides to send this worker. It does see that the third base has gone down and is just going to elect to hang at the front here and cause the problems that I just stated for our Zerg players. So they're going to duke it out. Duel. I think the Zerg, I think the drone wins in that case. But the Reaper would have made sure it was mutually assured destruction. Oh, is it gonna happen? Incredible. Marine is gonna try and push this Overlord away, and this is actually gonna put Breaking on a very, very back foot here. Trying absolutely hard to not lose this drone. He's gonna lose the Overlord in the process, which is admittedly a shame. That drone is still very, very damaged. Can't afford to run that out and take even one shot off of the Reaper, and the Reaper's gonna try and milk that for all it is possibly worth. I think the Queen is going to finally push this away. The Reaper is going to take just enough damage. But that's a lot of damage dealt. PSiArc, I don't think, was spending a whole lot of time babysitting that specific area of the map, so it was allowed to work. But it is actually Breaking that has the worker lead, 36-28. Did a really nice job of anchoring that down in the short term. So Breaking does manage to come away with a rather strong position here as the Reaper does manage to confirm that the third base is in fact down. Dueling is going to support this Reaper, and they're going to see two Queens 3 queens. And then he's gonna peace. But only for a brief amount of time. Wants to try and dive in and get to the juicy drone lines that are, in fact, lying in wait. Liberator is going to come out as well, and it looks like PSiArc's going to walk down the path that he did in game number 2 here. Overlord is going to scout and make sure that this is not, in fact, a battle cruiser opening. He's going to see that Stim Pack is on the way. 6 Hellions going to move across the map and deal just a little bit of damage to these queens. Some nice micro to try and juggle injured Hellions back out of the way. Hellion's going to do some nice damage to those Zerglings. They're going to take a lot of damage in the process. In fact, will more than get taken up by all of these queens. 4 drones did go down. Again, not for nothing. But definitely not the value that he's looking for. Especially when he threw away much more than that in mineral cost. Third base. He's down and morphing into normal command at this point, so that will be floating on its way very soon. 1-1 started for Bio. Our Terran player, excuse me. And now both players just opting to leave each other alone and worry about their own macro. I think this works out very, very great for Breaking, who is already up 15 workers and continuing to motor forward. Oh, excuse me. It's 11:45 where I'm at. Had a long day, I'm a little sleepy. So I'm gonna try and stifle those yawns for you as a Hydralisk Den does come down. We're gonna see just a little bit different path here for our Teal Zerg as Baneling speed, Overlord speed, and Hydras are going to be on the menu for the middle of this game. I think this is an interesting choice against Bio. You know, Hydraling Bane was very, very powerful at one point, maybe about a year and a half ago, but I think ever since patches, it kind of dismantled Hydras just a little tiny bit. That particular strategy is not as strong as it has been. 16 Marines in the tank are going to move forward and try and clear out just a little bit of creep to allow this tank to leapfrog forward, put itself into bigger damage. But that's a lot of Ling Bane. The Banelings do not get sieged upon by the tank, which allows the Zerglings to get a full surround on the tank. Most of the Bio does get picked up and flown off site, so it doesn't lose the entirety of his army. PSiArc is now seeing what's happening if he leaves Breaking alone for just a little bit too long. And I believe that time has passed here, as 1-1 is about to finish up. Group Spine's also in the mix as well, which is going to make those Hydras shoot just a little bit further, a little bit faster. One drop here does actually have a really nice Sim City built off of the Spine Crawler. So getting a little bit more value out of those units than otherwise maybe would have been done. But now the drop dance begins, where they move back and forth between the second and third base locations. But enough units do end up getting killed. PSiArc is forced to fly the units back at this point. Drilling Claws just about finished up here, so we're going to see a slight transition into some mine play, which I think will work really, really well for our Terran player who wants to do a lot more dropping and a lot more mobility on this game. And I feel like Everdream does have a lot of places to hide some of those medevacs. In fact, there's a big gap right back here if for some reason you want to lay siege on the backside of these bases. So it's not a bad idea for Arc. Arc's onto the right path, I believe. We're gonna have to see if he can end up dealing with the Hydroling Bane of breaking. And we're gonna get a first taste of that experience here. Mines have not been sieged just yet, so hopefully they're gonna deal the damage that PSiArc is looking for. First couple of volleys do manage to clean up most, if not all, of the Zerglings, but Banelings are going to come in as well. PSiArc is going to need to split. Doesn't even touch the Marines, but that's because he's worried about the Marines on the top side here, where there are, in fact, more Zerglings. PSiArc getting pushed away at every possible angle. More Zerglings come flooding across the map as Adrenal Glands does get started up. Hive Tech completing. 2-2 is very close to being done. And PSiArc needs to come up with a strategy here. Right now, getting shut down at every possible push point is not what PSiArc was hoping for. Gang goes down and speed a large chunk of the army. Mines do land on a few clumps of Zerglings, but it's definitely just not enough damage, as breaking is already maxed out on supply. Can very easily morph more of these into Banelings, try and fade out as many mine shots as you possibly can. I think that's just going to be it. These Hydras are going to be able to push in here and make it look real easy. Great concave of Hydras. Going to be able to shut down this planetary fortress. There is one small hit squad here on the top side, but that's going to immediately get deflected. 167 to 112. 15 workers going down. More and more links come flooding across the map, and I think that's just going to be all she wrote. The small army is going to push up in. And GG is called. So breaking, taking game number 3 in very convincing fashion, showing PSiArc that, you know what, I'm not going to let you win that same style more than once. So PSiArc is going to continue with that. I think he's going to have to get just a little bit more creative. With his builds. Very interesting. All right. Folks, we would not be anything here at Alpha X without one of our great sponsors in Wha-Bam! F-Bomb. We want to give a shout out to one of our official sponsors, F-Bomb. The F-Bomb in F-Bomb makes portable and delicious snacks that are perfect for low carb, keto, and paleo diets. They're better known for their all natural macadamia nut butter packets, pork sticks, and keto crunch cheese crisps. If you're looking to cut carbs and eat healthier, then start dropping some F-Bombs, and we are so grateful to have them as a sponsor here at Alpha X. So thank you, F-Bomb, for supporting the Alpha Pro series and helping make events like this possible. As we get that off the screen and we move ourselves over to map number 4, we are getting ready. We're moving to Simulacrum. Whew. Man, that advertisement got me all excited. I guess that's a good thing, right? Spawning into the bottom right-hand corner of Simulacrum, our Teal Zerg playing for Team Alpha X. Give it up for BreakingGG. And spawning in the top left, our red Terran. Excuse me, Terran, your base is over here. Oh my gosh, this is PSiArc. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, PSiArc. Okay, someone needs to go into the game chat here and inform him that his base is all the... Oh my gosh. Wait until Breaking finds out about this. So this is going to be 2 proxy racks here, just north of Breaking's base. This is not a huge commitment. This is going to be a big enough commitment where some real good damage could get done. No drone being sent at this time, so Psy is a little bit in the dark. However, is he gonna find this? I think he's gonna find this. Oh, gotta press shift. Let's see if he can see. Oh yeah, absolutely sees it. Is this waiting for? Yep. So. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot he can do. He's gonna pull 4 workers, who's gonna help deal with the bunkers that inevitably go down here. We're gonna have to watch this very, very carefully. And all the workers group up. And now the fun begins. Creep does manage to go down, so one spine crawler is gonna get placed down. Oh, he gets a full surround on that Marine. Oh, that's just unfortunate. I think that's over for PSiArc. I mean, he's lost so many Marines. That bunker is going to be allowed to finish, though. What? Oh, that bunker is never going to see Marines, though. 4 workers have gone down. So this is actually going a little bit better for PSiArc than I maybe would have been. But that bunker get cleaned up. A couple more Marines getting built out of this. And the factory has gone down back at home, so PSiArc does intend on getting back into a normal-ish game, which is very, very interesting. Can't help but notice that there are already lings over here. And he is going right into the reactor, so Breaking doing a nice job of putting on just a little bit of pressure. PSiArc's gonna show his hand in floating this barracks all the way in here just to do a little bit of cheeky scouting. A couple of Marines doing a really nice micro challenge. Do finally get cleaned up by these Zerglings. This barracks is gonna float in. This one's actually gonna make it all the way back home, which I guess makes sense. Don't really need more than one barracks to float in and scout. I'm actually not even convinced that that barracks is gonna get killed. I don't think it will. No queen until right now at the main base. This barracks is going to be able to scout that the third base is going down as well. But I think these queens are going to at least make sure that this barracks starts burning. Which will put a damper on its ability to, you know, do anything going forward. There's still going to be a fusion core opening from PSiArc. So out of one cheese into another, which I find fascinating. This one's not going to hit near as hard as the full-on committed version of this build does, but I still think it could potentially catch Breaking off guard. But none of this Overlord has anything to say about it. Is going to see that there is a Tech Lab starport and immediately sees that there is a fusion core. So So now the Hellions are going to try and do their thing and get as much economic damage done as humanly possible in the meantime. Not going to get a whole lot of damage actually from. They're going to zip back and forth and try and get an angle. Queens are well placed, not providing any opportunity to zip in. And pick off a worker. But that first battle cruiser is about to hit the field. And may well just fly right over. I don't think I see it jumping. But it is going to pick up this overload. Yep, this is going to take a leisurely little flight all the way up and over. Yamato Cannon is probably going to be finished about the time that that battle cruiser finds the opposite side of the field. Oh, but it did. It absolutely jumped on over, but it jumped to his death, I feel. Lots of damage, Hellions, but not quite dead. As it does go soaring back home to be repaired and live another day. Certainly they're going to come find the front and actually take a lot of damage. Not really picking off any Hellions there. That was a rather poor choice on Breaking's part. Breaking once again maintaining that worker lead, 67 to 52. Begins at fourth base. In about the normal location here. And I feel like PSiArc is on a little bit of a timer here, falling behind economically, not really doing the damage he was hoping to do. Committed a lot into this opening tease, and now the battle cruiser rush to not be able to walk away with more kills than what he has. So this time they are just going to fly right down the gut to go join the fray, so that way they can leap away should they need to. Yamato Cannon should be able to take out two of these queens almost immediately. It's going to be the Hydras that he has to find a way to deal with. 7 Hydras are on the way. And we'll do a significant amount of damage if left uncontested to these battle cruisers. One battle cruiser getting dangerously low. And PSiArc does not bump it out in time. Meanwhile, these roaches are trying to deal a little bit of counter damage. And a few do find mineral lines. 6 workers going down so far. And more workers will follow as well. And PSiArc, who had at least evened out the worker count here, has dropped 10 to 67 to 57. Not getting a tight foothold in this game number 4. Looks like Breaking is trying to run away with this as his 4th base now becomes fully saturated at 75 workers. Hive is about halfway done as well, and the climb continues here. 4th base is on the way for our Terran player. Not giving up, never give up, never surrender. But trying to find the foothold that he's been looking for all game after his initial aggression failed to deal any major economic damage. Pack of Roaches placed in a perfect location to help deflect those Hellions away. While the battle cruisers do find the opposite side of the map to go find damage of their own. 5th base is on the way for a Zerg player, which is very, very good. However, those battle cruisers have anything to say about it. And the base is not going to last very long. But the Hellions do manage to dive right on into the main. We're going to see Vipers coming out for the Blue Zerg. And managing to get a decent amount of work done. Now I think had the battle cruisers been paid attention to, I think they would have found a lot more worker kills than they got. 9, none is to stick at. Both of them are going to have to blink out, but not before taking 10 kills. So, not too bad, not too shabby. More and more economy on the way, 2-2 on the way along with Infernal Pre-Igniter. Whole mess of upgrades, including a Greater Spire coming in for our third player. Getting up to that desirable late game army. Broodlords. Tanks are going to say no, no, no. Vipers are going to say yes, yes, yes. As the Vipers do a great job of pulling in all the tanks, it's going to make this incredibly useful for Breaking to attack into. 182 to 157 is a really nice supply point here. Greater Spire is now officially complete. As more and more battle cruisers do come streaming in to deal some more pressure. Not sitting on any corruptors yet at this point, but Breaking is doing its best to try and commit into using the Vipers and the Hydras, which is working so far. I'm uncertain if it's going to be a sustainable outcome for him going forward. But he has the units that he needs to maybe just push into this and win. Viper Bulls are going to be pulled into the main ground forces here. The more Vipers do happen to have some blinding clouds, and they get some very, very high value ones on top of them. Another big pull. Going to prevent these tanks from being incredibly effective. And another blinding cloud, making sure that they are 0% effective. There is a fourth base location down here at the 9 o'clock position, but that fifth base was going to be really important to help PSiArc get a really strong toehold in this event. PSiArc has got to have a little bit more combat power on the counter than just two lonely battle cruisers. Both Yamato cannons getting shut down mid-charge by the pull. Interesting dynamic. Use of the spells. As the Terran player is continually left wondering, what do I do about this Teal Zerg? Teal Zerg, who's kind of spiraling a little bit out of control. +3 missiles on the way. As well as a potpourri of other expansions, drones. They're looking to help secure our Teal Zerg's third victory in this game. Broodlords making their way in. More pulls coming in from the Vipers, getting incredibly good value out of these Vipers. Tanks staying unsieged to avoid the perils of the blinding cloud. Somebody just need to get a decent amount of work in, but it's going to be the Broodlords that continually cause more and more fear to be stricken by our Red Terror player. +1 ship weapons also on the way, as well as a magnet field accelerator here. At the same time, Thors are also. Tanks are going to get some really nice value here. They're hitting really strong. They are 3-3, so they're nothing to sneeze at. So this is all on the heels of the Zerg playing siege. Fourth base does go down. We're in the 56 already on the map. That is less issue. PSiArc forced to fly away with his command center, at least for the short period of time. Somehow, more workers than PSiArc. These are light blue characters. Or light blue Zerg, excuse me. Down to 65 workers. PSiArc being very efficient with worker kills and protecting his own workers. Very, very well done. And more of these bases are going to continue to be scattered throughout the map, which will be great for PSiArc. He needs to grab, again, that foothold in the economic field. To try and stay in the game with breaking. I think the more time that passes for breaking, the better off this game becomes for him. So I think sensing that, PSiArc knows that his time is now. He is maxed out. Does have a large number of Thors, a couple of tanks, and some Hellbats. And these Thors are going to do some work. A little bit of a choke point will protect those Thors from being deployed. But I have a feeling that this Greater Spire is going to go down. Ooh, some really great lightning clouds. Oh my goodness. Tanks do get sieged up and are going to start doing their best when tanks get picked off. The second one as well. Here comes the Broodlords. Broodlords are going to be really, really pivotal on both sides. And I just think that PSiArc is not going to have enough ammo here to effectively deal the damage he's looking for. So a couple more Thors are going to be forced to pull back as the creep continues to push forward. I don't feel like either player just has enough firepower. Ah! Well, can I say that? And PSiArc decides. GG is called. Did have a fifth base down, so was trying his hardest to continue that game moving forward. But for me, in my sleepy eyes, I think that was probably the best case for everyone. At least for me. GG is called. And we are now going to get ready for map number 5. It's another great opportunity to call out one of our other great sponsors in G Fuel. Right now, we want to give a shout out to G Fuel, the official drink of esports. Since 2004, G Fuel has been providing top gamers like PewDiePie and Dr. Disrespect with energy, focus, and endurance. Whew, I feel like I could use a little bit of that. They've just released their new flavor, Castro's Guava, a flavor that pays tribute to the streamer Castro's rich Mexican heritage. Get the flavor alone or in its limited edition collector's box. G Fuel adds to our prize pool for each of their quests completed, so be sure to go to matcherino.com to complete G Fuel quests and support this tournament. Well, what are you drinking right now? Because if it isn't G Fuel, you should take advantage of the opportunity, and we are so grateful for G Fuel to help support our tournaments just like this one and all of our happenings here at Alpha X. So thank you so much to G Fuel. Make sure to check them out. Also, make sure to check out Matcherino. You can see that there is a link up at the top with a code APS157. Allows you to add 50 cents of free coupon code money to these tournaments. I love it. I think that's definitely worth your time. So please make sure, hit up those coupon codes. Thank you so much for helping save esports one event at a time as we get into map number 5 here on Zen. Oh, I'm feeling Zen. I'm feeling a little bit of silliness. I'm ready. Let's see if we can get ourselves just a little bit of silly. And if we are, it's gonna start with this man spawning in the top right-hand corner of Zen, playing for Alpha X. Give it up for BreakingGG. And spawning in the bottom left, our red Terran player playing for Team Bear Me. Give it up for PSiArc. Whew. And you know what? I'm wondering, can I stand? Can I stand for this cast? Not really. Not really. I mean, I can talk to you, and you'd never know I was standing. But my mouse is all the way down there. That's just not gonna work. I'm super, super sad by that. But you know what? Maybe I can do this for a little bit. Yeah, we'll give this a try. We are opening just a little bit different here. Spawning pool first out of Breaking. It's going into a second base, so it's not a complete all-in. This is going to get really aggressive here, and this is the kind of excitement I was hoping for on Zen. This map rush distance is rather short, marked out by this beautiful little path. It's kind of like a little garden. Just going to walk from one side to the other, take all his lings, have to hop across each one. We're not getting a ling flood here, which is interesting. So we're gonna have to see how this unfolds here. Oh, there we go. It's gonna be a cheeky little roach rush. And these are gonna try their absolute best to push this away. And I don't think he saw it. He did not see it. He does not necessarily know that roaches are in fact incoming. But this Reaper might have something different to say. The Reaper's not going to jump up in there either, so that is going to continue to confound PSiArc at this point. As 3 roaches are on the way. And those are going to continue to be unscouted. Very, very, very interesting here at this point in the game. One Ravager being morphed in as well. And Breaking does have relatively good high ground vision of PSiArc's main base, so that Ravager is going to be able to rain biles down. The roaches are going to be able to fire up to the high ground. Ugh, remarkable. Wait, I was like, where are they going? There is nothing back here. Oh, there's a Hand Reaper. There he is. And fight. But here's where the real damage begins. The bunker is not going to be allowed to finish. That high ground vision was too strong. I think once this supply depot gets killed, I think this is going to be all over for our red Terran. Getting some nice biles down. It's going to pick off the reactor, so the marine production is going to get stunted. It's going to get stunted even further because now PSiArc is supply blocked. But good news, Breaking is going to try and be a nice guy and take care of that problem for him by killing some of his units to free up a little bit of that supply cap. 10 workers does go down. Ooh, that Cyclone is so dangerously low. He is not able to engage, and the Ravager is just going to be able to continue dealing a lot of damage. Another Ravager is going to be able to form here. 14 workers does go down, and for PSiArc, unfortunately, I think this is just going to be all she wrote. GG is called. Yeah, that makes sense. Breaking, doing his best to flex here, and brings us to a potential match point. Crazy stuff here. Crazy, crazy stuff. So we are looking at a game number 6 here. We'll find out where we're headed in just a moment. But I want to make sure to thank one of our primary sponsors of this particular event. Bam! F-Bomb. It's time to give yet another shout out to our amazing sponsor in F-Bomb. They are a line of low-carb, high-fat foods to help you live a better life. They research, test, taste, and source the highest quality ingredients and put them into custom-made packages. Thanks to F-Bomb products and their unique packaging, finding tasty, high-quality fat options at home or on the go is no longer a challenge. Whether you're at work, at the gym, on a hike, traveling the world, or playing a little bit of StarCraft 2, you will want to be sporting F-Bombs. So thank you so much, F-Bomb, for supporting our Alpha X events just like this one here. As we get ready for map number 6. This could be a match point here on Purity and Industry. If you have not seen this map's actually really kind of cool. I think you will enjoy seeing this. If for some reason this is our last game, make sure to hit up that Matcherino. Let's get those codes used and let's get this tournament funded further. Thanks in part to our great sponsors and viewers like you. Oh shoot, is PBS gonna come after me? I think they might. That's kind of their thing. Well, if this is gonna be our last game, it's going to come off the heels of this man's next victory. Spawning at the top of Purity and Industry. Playing for Alpha X, give it up for BreakingGG. And spawning in the right of Purity and Industry. I believe this is the Industry part. I think this is the Purity part. Something like that. Our Red Terran player has to win 4 games in a row to become today's champion. Give it up for Bear Means Silent. Well, if our blue Zerg is gonna win, it's gonna be off the heels of a normal game, which is okay. I don't think that's a major issue at all. Barracks gonna go down at a completely normal time. Spawning pool going down, completely normal time. So I was actually talking about this map. This reminds me, oh gosh, what's the name of the map? Can't even think of it. This map reminds me of the very famous like Scarlet versus Bomber game all the way back in Heart of the Swarm. You know the map. Everybody knows that map. But I really like that about the map pool, where I feel the map makers were given a little bit more creativity to work with on putting together these maps, because this is definitely not a normal map. You can see that this airspace is just littered with stasis fields that will slow everything down. I love that there's an island that you have to go through stasis to get to, although I don't know, can you sneak along that far right side? It's possible. But I like it. I think having a couple of maps that are goofy and silly looking, I think it's good. Makes it fun. Makes it interesting. I'm sure for our pro players, they're getting to like game 6 and game 7 and going, ah, I gotta play on the goofy map. What's happening? All right, so we are going 1-1-1 here for our Red Terran. It is entirely within the realm of possibility that we might see another battle cruiser opening But we're going to have to see here in just a little bit of time. We should know very, very soon. But I think Breaking is expecting that to be the case as a lair is already coming down. Starport is complete. Now we're just waiting to see what will be built behind it. And it will, in fact, be a fusion core. So we are going to see more battle cruisers. And Breaking is already ahead of that. He is getting into his lair. Is going to be able to deflect with some air units, spire units. And the Reaper is going to be able to see that that's coming. But it is going to be a little bit different path to get there as Banshees are on the way. We could possibly see a speed Banshee on the way, but nope, just kidding. I think Banshee was just a ploy. No. No battle cruisers here. Definitely battle cruisers here. Nope. There it goes. This brave overlord protecting the vast expanse. Ooh, a very, very nice wedge with these queens on the tight ramp, preventing all of those Hellions from being able to jump up. Does manage to pick off one or two of them. I think Breaking continues to put himself in a very, very strong position. Infestation Pit also on the way. We might see him jump up to Hive Tech, but it is only the 5-minute mark. We could see some Swarm Hosts. Wouldn't that just be wild? Swarm Hosts or maybe some investors to deal with those battle cruisers. The world is his oyster. We are in fact going to see a Nidus Swarm. Oh, we are going to see Swarm Hosts. I'm so happy. Roach is going to do everything they can to zone these Hellions out of place, as 8 Swarm Hosts are now in production. But it does force this battle cruiser to stay back at home. So battle cruiser is going to be just like game number 1, where it doesn't have any opportunity to get out onto the map. Nidus Swarm has been detected. The workers are going to get pulled, but it's going to be a little too late, I think. Oh no! Right in the nick of time. We're just going to force that Nidus Swarm to pop up elsewhere. Oh. I'd love for that to come up there. Alright. Opting for a long fly distance. I don't know that these are going to get a whole lot accomplished, but they might be able to dive down on top of the Hellions. No, they are going to pick out a little bit. Might actually get a tank to their trouble as well. Oh, that's actually insanely good value. The tank gets a... supply depot? Outstanding. Two battle cruisers here working on these queens, and one queen is going to fall down. Only now those queens get in range of a couple more crawlers that they feel safe to continue fighting. More locusts are going to go down. They're going to catch this mech army just a little bit out. Not losing anything major. Battle cruisers are getting a lot of damage done here. 5 workers do go down. And one of the extractors. So the extractor is going to have to be forced to be built again. As more and more harassment gets done By the swarm host locust. Another knight is going to be placed in a very, very bold position at the top of the main. But there's no reaction here. Oh, yeah, there's reaction. All right, so locusts are going to split up here a little bit. Try and clear up as much as possible. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 workers. That's actually insanely good damage. Roaches are going to come across as well and try and deal a little bit more damage. Those, unfortunately, need to be Ravagers if they're going to fight against these Cyclones in a very good way, but they managed to jump on top of a couple. Managed to jump on top of both the tanks as well, getting another Cyclone. Oh my gosh, those Roaches got so much value. Roaches getting split up. Oh, I mean, this is insane how much roach damage that did. Those roaches were never supposed to touch any of those Cyclones, and yet they came away with all but 2 of them? Whew. That might force PSiArc into a fight or flight moment. I think as long as the swarm hosts continue to be on the field, they're going to force PSiArc into flight more often than fight. Which is great, as Breaking is able to continue causing chaos and harassment across the map. PSiArc does not manage to find that particular one. But slow Zerglings, oh, if the slow Zerglings kill things, oh my gosh, they did. So silly. So many SCVs down here at the 3rd base location. They're just getting funneled around every possible place. Is that 40 workers? I did read that correctly. More gas is being created as these locusts continue to kill. More and more gas income off for PSiArc. It's just leaving him completely starved. This Nidus still has not been dealt with. Insanity. I think these battle cruisers have finally had enough, and they are going to try and fly into the now 4th base location, or they might just dive right into the main. But that's going to force this to attack. Oh boy. I think these locusts are going to get... No, that's a good pull. Finally, Zergling speed is allowed to complete. This is going to be a lot of economic damage. Just from lost mining time on top of the workers that are going to die down here. 12 workers have gone down. PSiArc somehow still within about 10 workers. He's just been consistently down 10-15 workers for the entirety of the last 5-10 minutes or so. Large clump of corruptors are going to take a lot of damage here by the Cyclones. Swarm hosts are allowed to continue dealing more and more harassment damage, causing more and more problems. Meanwhile, it's just a warm, sunny day over on Purity. Zerg player continuing just to do his thing. Meanwhile, on Industry, it is constant building, constant production. All for what? This army. 4th base coming down in the lower right-hand corner. I can't say it's too little too late. It's not entirely true. But I think he's going to need that base to hold for a very long time, and these locusts are going to do their best to make sure that that base does not sit. Is going to clean that up. The locusts are not going to be able to find their mark, unfortunately. Battle crews are getting some nice damage here. It's going to be able to pick off an extractor. and jump away. So getting a little damage done here and there. It's exactly what he has to accomplish. Oh, the swarm hosts do get caught out just a little bit. A couple of cyclones to go down for free. Not ideal. They were able to get out before losing all of them, so not an entirely bad trade. But I feel like PSiArc is kind of stuck here. He's made that transition into Cyclones, which is not a bad place to be per se. But in a world where infestors are coming out for the Terran, there's a large clump of not only Ling, Ravager, Roach, but also Corruptors. It makes it very challenging. On top of all of it, there's very easily four swarmers as well. 16 workers. Whoa. Well, at this point, he's trying to add insult to injury. 71 workers to 47. Up 30 supply, army-wise. Big Breaking is doing his part to try and move himself into a match winner and claim the prize, the Alpha Pro Series number 157. He's not quite there. He's got to continue working for it, though. Some really nice fungals, though, are going to prevent those battle cruisers from being able to jump away, and two of those battle cruisers are going to immediately fall to leap even further away, and PSiArc is kind of forced to make aggression happen where he doesn't really want to. A couple more Cyclones do go down. PSiArc's army continues to dwindle further and further. Not quite sure what to do about the army of Breaking. There go a couple more Cyclones. These are just such spendy units, and that's all she wrote, folks. Breaking, winning game number 6 and becoming your Alpha Pro Series number 157 champion. Congratulations. Very, very well done. Very well done to his opponent, PSiArc, as well. But BreakingGG will be today's champion, representing Alpha X. Woo! Thank you so much for sticking with us and enjoying this series. I do want to make sure to shout out one more of our sponsors, because I did not get a chance to talk to you about 24-Hour Fitness. 24-Hour Fitness has a mission and a goal, and that is good health. And being healthy is an important part of being successful, whether you're a top-level esports player or a common noob. Part of living a healthy lifestyle is getting proper and consistent exercise, and 24-Hour Fitness can help with that. They're committed to helping you make sure that you can be healthy in a way that fits your lifestyle and schedule. Go visit a location alone or bring a friend to get results. Take advantage of their free fit plans, studio classes, pool, cardio equipment, and so much more at any of their 436 locations. You can even get a free 7-day pass when you complete one of the Matcherino sponsor requests. So before you go, thank you for checking out the Matcherino up at the top. Make sure to use the code APS157 to make sure that that pool is completely filled. Thank you so much for checking that out. You can add that 50 cents. It's so valuable. Take advantage of it. It costs you nothing, and it helps out our players, and it helps us put on these great events. I want to thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you to G Fuel, F-Bomb, and 24-Hour Fitness for helping support events like these. And thank you to viewers like you for joining in and being a part of the fun. My name is Rushy. You can catch me at twitch.tv/RushySC. I am actually on a very unplanned break due to the COVID-19 outbreak in the United States. So hopefully you'll get a chance to see my face a little bit, playing some StarCraft 2, maybe casting a little bit more for Alpha X Pro Series and other events brought to you by our organization. So hopefully you get a chance to hang out with me in the future. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, wherever you're at. Take care.